What's up guys, it's Powerbang. Welcome to this Brawl Stars guide on Shelly. Shelly is a common brawler and her purpose is to run and gun. She's perfectly designed to be the aggressor in most combat situations and she is set out to seek and destroy. Shelly's base hit points are 800. You can obviously level these up by upgrading your HP ability, and her primary attack is buckshot. With buckshot shells locked and loaded in her boomstick, shotgun Shelly can run and gun with the best of them. Grape shot is her super ability. Shelly's supercharged shell obliterates both cover and enemies. Anyone who survives it gets knocked back. Now, some of Shelly's strengths are she has very high damage output. Her attacks form a wide cone shape and spread all over the battlefield and have decent range for a shotgun. This makes landing shots very simple and makes her a very accurate brawler. Shelly's shots can cripple a whole team at the same time due to that spread, and they seemingly all do a lot of damage per pellet, so Shelly is definitely a brawler to watch out for. She's able to stop an enemy approach before it starts because her shotgun can cover an area very effectively. Let's talk about Shelly's strengths and weaknesses, first focusing on the strengths. She has a very high damage output. Her attacks form a wide cone with a decent range for a shotgun right in front of her. This makes her a very accurate brawler. Accuracy just means that she's able to land the majority of the shots she takes. She's very consistent in doing so. She's able to stop an enemy approach before it starts sometimes because her area of cover is so large with her weapon. She's also excellent at protecting teammates due to her knockback on her super ability. Many times you'll see teammates kind of scurrying and retreating from an oncoming enemy threat, and Shelly is able to pop that grape shot ability, knocking the enemies back, doing significant damage, and thus eliminating the pursuit. In addition to doing significant damage, Shelly's grape shot ability is able to destroy walls and cover. This is a very significant ability, and it really increases the ability for Shelly to be tactical by ambushing her opponents when they think they're safe on the other side of cover. Another great thing about Shelly is she's very easy to play at a high level. She's a low skill cap character, which makes it a great choice for your very first brawler, and Supercell seems to agree, as Shelly is the default brawler unlocked at the beginning of the game. Now, it's not all rosy when it comes to Shelly's performance. There are some weaknesses as well. We'll go over those now. Shelly has a short range. It's average at best. It's decent for a shotgun, but still isn't that of the other brawlers. She can be kited very easily. When you kite someone, it means that no matter how hard you try to pursue, you simply can't get in range with your weapon to do any damage while they're able to land shots on you the whole time. Eventually, you either die or have to fall back because your hit points are too low. Shelly is not a glass cannon, but when she's in range to do damage, she had better not miss. You will not have the luxury of missing shots with her because she has to get the kill before she's killed, and that's the way she survives. Shelly doesn't have a gap closer when she's in pursuit. If she is able to land a couple of initial volleys on her targets and they begin to retreat, if they are out of range, they're likely to stay out of range until they receive reinforcements from their teammates. Shelly just doesn't have any movement speed buffs or ability to close any gaps or to fire at range in order to take out those retreating foes. She really doesn't have a whole lot of utility for supporting game mode objectives besides very basic suppressing fire. Not to underestimate the suppressing fire, as it can control an area of the map, but ammo is limited, and once it runs out, Shelly becomes not quite useless, but less useful. To go a little deeper on strategy and tactics for Shelly, here are some great tips for you. She's a great brawler for an early game mid-rush. She's able to damage all opponents at the same time, so even if Shelly dies, her teammates can mop up a weakened squad. You can catch your enemies off guard by using your super to obliterate the walls that they are standing behind. Sometimes enemies think they're safe by just crouching behind a wall thinking you can't reach them, but you can definitely surprise them when the time is right by blowing the walls apart and then finishing them off, making sure that your ammunition is full before you take out the wall. When one or more enemies lurks in wait or are deliberately hiding you behind a wall or cover, wait until your teammate approaches from another direction, and when the fighting is about to start, use the super on the wall to destroy their cover and also deal significant damage. The knockback does disorient the opponent, and it makes the team fight pretty simple for you and your approaching reinforcements. Shelly is one of the most dangerous brawlers to stumble upon in the bushes. Try to sneak into the bushes in high traffic areas when no one is looking. Wait for your enemies to approach you, and a great opportunity to do this is when all of the action is taking place on the far side of the map, or when you wipe the opposing team, killing them all and forcing them to respawn. Shelly's shotgun blast at short range is lethal and can even take out weaker brawlers in a single shot. That is quite the surprise to stumble onto when you think the bushes are clear. Don't forget to fire upon brawlers that are in pursuit of you. Just a couple of taps from your shotgun and they'll have no option but to retreat. While her range is shorter, it is made longer by opponents pursuing you and thus extending your gun's range. The best game modes for Shelly to play are smash and grab. map, where you try to control a central gem mine. She's great at rushing the mine in the center of the map at the start of the game, and also keeping people off it due to the wide spread of her gun. Showdown is another mode that Shelly excels in. She's great at 1v1 battles, provided that she can find cover to hide in so her location isn't disclosed. If ranged characters see Shelly, she does become a bit more susceptible to taking damage before she's in range to fire. Another great game mode for Shelly is Bounty. Bounty is where you're basically head-to-head in a team deathmatch style versus another 3v3 team. She can definitely pull her weight and act as a frontline hero to disrupt the other team. The worst game mode for Shelly is hands down Heist. There simply isn't a lot of utility for her available in this particular map where she can help out her team. Heist is more about damaging the safe, taking out obstacles that protect the safe, damage over a long distance. Shelly is none of those things and thus has less utility on the Heist game mode. Some favorable matchups for Shelly are MORTIS. MORTIS is the sworn enemy of many a brawler, but Shelly is not one of them. If MORTIS gets into range, Shelly's able to finish him off with just a couple of shots from her blast, and it makes it hard for her to miss due to the fact that she has such a wide spread on her shotgun. Dynamite is another great matchup for Shelly, as she's able to charge in and get inside of his range of dynamite and take him out with ease. Ricochet is another opponent that, as long as you can dodge his initial shots, getting in range, you're able to take out a very low hit point brawler with ease. Lastly, you've got Brock. Brock only fires a single missile at a time, so as long as you can dodge those missiles, Shelly is able to take him out by getting him on the run and forcing him to become less accurate with his shots. He also has low hit points, so it's a great match for Shelly. Difficult matchups include Crow. Crow is able to stay at a distance, picking and popping and doing damage over time, never having to engage fully with the enemy, so he can kite very easily and also has more movement speed than Shelly, so the gap will never be closed without assistance from your teammates. Another difficult matchup is NITA. NITA is difficult more or less because of her super ability and the ability to spawn a bear. The bear cannot be left alone because it does generate super juice with each swing. If the bear is getting off swings, that means that Shelly is going to have to fire her shotgun into the bear rather than the target, NITA, who actually does a tremendous amount of damage herself, provided that she's in range. Bull is another tough matchup for Shelly simply because he is also a similarly based shotgun character. However, his hit points are far more than Shelly. While Shelly is probably the more capable shotgunner, Bull simply can outlast due to his increased stamina. Spike is another difficult matchup. Spike has the ability to kite Shelly and also use his super, keep him sticking around, have Shelly get stuck in his super trap, which slows movement speed. Once she's had her movement speed slowed, there's no way for her to escape. Hard counters for Shelly include Barley. Barley is very similar to Dynamite, except for he can cover his tracks where he stands with his Barley that does damage over time. In order for Shelly to pursue Barley in order to get the kill, Barley simply covers the ground with his whiskey or whatever he's carrying in those bottles, and Shelly ultimately dies out before she ever gets in range. Overall recommendation for Shelly. Shelly is not only the first character unlocked, but also one of the easiest to play in my estimation. In addition to being able to do very well with Shelly in the first ever game with her, she's a beast in one-on-one situations. She can even overpower entire teams if they're foolish enough to group up for her. Low hit point team compositions are also especially susceptible to Shelly's shotgun, and she's an extremely versatile brawler that can make a significant impact in the majority of game modes. She'll make a great addition to nearly any team in almost every game mode. Thanks so much for tuning into this guide on Shelly. Please make sure to check out the description where you can find a Brawl Stars wiki as well as links to other Brawl Stars guides. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, if you're interested in more Brawl Stars content, subscribe to the channel and you'll see more soon.